All right. We are back another night. We've got half an hour before the next episode. Episode 9 starts. Last night, of course, was episode 8 Spectacular. And we have another duo of guests. Everybody welcome Dan and Kirsti. How are you guys?
Hey guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us on.
No, hey, it's all good. You know, like to shake it up a bit, better than us three regular, chatting every night, getting bored. So it's good to shake it up and add a bit of flavor.
To be fair, we don't really get a choice. We just get told who's coming, and we're like, okay, all right, then we'll talk to those people. That we,
pretty much. Let's put them up in the proper position. There we go. We'll move them up there so we can, better. So just in case when chats come through, we can hide over, your head. All right, let's start with, I guess, the most obvious question. How was the ride? Did you enjoy it? Are you loving it? Did you love it?
Question. Whew, intense.
Should we use that word, Kirsti, that we hate? Roller coaster.
We do hate that word.
I don't know if you've seen through the episode so far. Like Brickman keeps on pointing out that we're on a roller coaster ride of every episode. So, yes, high highs and low lows.
It's a wild ride, and there are some really intense, big feelings. Not always positive, but oh my god, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. Not for the world. Amazing.
And how is it reliving it now that it's airing on TV compared to when you filmed it? Are you starting to get noticed everywhere you go, or not so much?
I went with children, so I'm noticed everywhere, because it's the exact demographic. So the first day back at school, there was cheers at the assembly going, does everyone know who the guys are? Yeah, so they're running up and giving me very brutal feedback.
Best part about
kids are honest. That's awesome.
How have you guys percepted the way you guys so far have been edited? You happy with the story that's been told and what gets shown and what gets cut out?
I've been pretty happy with it. I'm surprised how much airtime we get, but
same, yeah.
Because he's a clearly character, so it obviously works in your favour.
You seem to. It might be just camera magic, but you both seem to gel really well together when building. You've both got very different techniques, and you I don't know, it just seems to work. So I guess the camera sees that, and that's probably why you get a lot of airtime. There's no tension. There's just positivity and fluency when you're building. I'm sure behind the scene you guys are, manic and crazy. What are we going to do? We're running out of time. But the camera doesn't sort of see that much with you guys. It's quite enjoyable to watch you two as a team.
Oh, thanks for saying that. I think the first challenge was a bit hard for us, just working out how to work together and the whole working out what's in the brick pit and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think, we quickly worked out how to work together and just sort of do things. So
but after the first challenge, we came up with a couple of rules. So we said, okay, we need to brainstorm separately. So we always tear the pages out and sit and draw separately and then pitch to each other, a little elevator pitch until we both get fired up by an idea. And we also, because that first one, neither of us wanted to be rude to each other. We were like, we didn't want to argue. And so we didn't really we wasted a lot of time. If only we could go back to have those 16 hours again, we would knock it out of the park.
Oh, I mean, you got to think, right? We've watched episode 8 was last night. I guarantee every night you're like, oh, why didn't I do this, and this when that was going on? I could have fit that, and that. You know what I mean? It was very... Yeah. It's part of the beast. It's going to roll like that. It's part of the beast.
Yeah, so it's 2020, man.
We made a veto thing for the second bit. It never got shown. But the second build, we actually built a little veto card so that any idea, we didn't have to have any explanations for it. Just if there was any idea for whatever reason, if we just went, not feeling it, we could just veto. And it's funny because we never used it, but because we set it up, we both felt safe that it was okay for us to just not agree. So I think that's why there's not too much backwards and forwards and arguing or pushing and shoving.
I didn't agree to that, Kirsti. I didn't agree to that.
Smooth. Very, very smooth.
What?
I like that.
You should have handed it out around the room especially when people were coming up with things like Amelia Earhart. Like, why didn't you hand it out to Vito?
I guess that's the one interesting thing watching the show back is we didn't get to see a lot of that what the other teams were doing in terms of their thought process and the struggles that they had. So that's sort of been an insight for us. Like I think Kirsti and I personally felt like we struggled a lot of the time. It was kind of reassuring watching what they were shown, and then even like seeing like Joss and Henry on a previous build, the Spooktacular one, like for a moment that was stuck with things and working out what to do. So it's kind of just I don't know, reassuring that we actually all struggled at times.
Oh, totally. And you know, now that you can see it from that third person, so to speak, angle, you know, you realize you aren't the only one that had that stress situation, or, you know, you missed out on that, or you could have done this, or, you know, Brickman only didn't just pick on your flaws. He found everyone's flaws.
Yeah. Yeah. But when you're talking about the edit, I think I can't speak for Daniel, but I know for me going in, I just went, you've got absolutely no control over that. So just let that go, whatever. You can only do what you can do, and you can only be you, because with all the energy you're throwing at it to try and like think about how you're going to be perceived, like that's time away from the bricks, you know? So you just go, yeah, whatever. They're going to do what they're going to do with it anyway. You've got no control. So
question that just come through on the chat saying, was it nerve-wracking the first time on camera, like starting to build with the cameras in your face? How did you guys take that on?
I found it surprisingly not. I wasn't concerned at all. I don't know what it was. Like, just too excited about being there, building with the bricks and stuff, and just like, you know what? This is the price you pay for being access to the brick pit. You just like, be on TV, and there's like so many cameras there. You kind of forget about all of them. Like, you just sort of just get on with it and just
because there is quite a lot. Yeah.
And you start to talk to the cameramen, like you start like addressing comments, like, because they know what you've been through, and they know when you're struggling with something. And when you're really happy, you're like, oh, Colin, look at this. You know, it's just really cute. But I think the biggest thing for me with the camera is the table camera. We just kept knocking that cover off because, you know, the space we needed, we just kept smashing it. And the amount of times they had to come and move us away so they could fix it, that was, humbling.
Yeah, we kept putting stuff in front of our table cam, and they kept coming out and shifting it. Like, can you just leave that stuff alone? It's there for a reason, okay?
Yeah.
The other thing, like you said, how, you know, you get to know the cameraman and that as well. You got to realize they're all mic'd up to all you guys, even though they might be only filming you. You know, they can hear every single person's comments, questions.
That's what I registered.
Yeah,
oh my God! Wow.
So,
and that's why, like, they're always great because they're there. Like when you have that energy, like you have, Kirsti, and they come over and they want to share in that success. When it comes to the failures, and you're talking under your breath, and you're like, all of a sudden they start swarming, and it's like, okay, cool.
Oh, you heard that?
You heard me swearing at my teammate.
I think I learned that the hard. Like I noticed that some of our builds, like, a bit critical of some of what we were doing, and like the techniques, like just doing stuff that I normally wouldn't do, but you just make a few shortcuts and stuff, and just saying certain things about your own build, and then surprise, surprise, Brickman comes over and spots those flaws and starts pointing them out, and just like,
isn't it funny that it happened? Because we brought it up with Alex and Caleb last night when they built and we'll get to your builds in a sec, the Grannys Cottage.
That's
you know, you wouldn't have picked that didn't have a window. So I guaranteed they've whispered to each other, oh, crap, we forgot a window. And they've hooked it and rolled with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I think there was one point where I was thinking we should just say a whole bunch of like random stuff.
Yeah.
And just try and throw them off.
Stuff you wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, too cool. All right, let's start having a look at your builds. Obviously, you said your first one, you know, you kind of were just, I guess, getting to know each other and how you've built and stuff like that. The Drain the Ocean challenge. But then jumping into probably which will be the most recognizable build coming out of this show, hands down. Yeah. This chicken is just going to be, you know, this is going to be every time you get talked to, I guarantee it's going to be like, oh, the chicken. Oh, the chicken.
We've had so many tribute builds and pictures sent, and it's the cutest.
But I mean, it's also the it's awesome. Like it literally nailed, obviously, except for the length, but for the look and the spectacularness of it, it was, you can't fault that chicken, and what a top idea to have too.
Yeah.
It was good, and at least this one, I guess in hindsight, being an armchair critic, even looking back on this build, you could even sit back and go, nah, happy with that. Would have not built anything different. Don't need to build anything different. You know what I mean? Because it just laid out that well that you did kind of, what could have you done different? You didn't need to, because
it was. We would have tried to line it up on the launch just a little bit more, because as we put it on, we were worried about it not being centered, and it did start to go. But I think that but otherwise we just had so much fun with that. How would you change that? It was just so much fun.
That's what I mean. It was very cool. Yeah, Henry, welcome.
Hey guys, how are you? Sorry I'm late.
It's all good.
How are you, Dan? How are you, Christy?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Hi.
All right, moving on. The song River, you got gypped, no doubt about it. As a song title, you guys got gypped, hands down. I mean, how else did you build it?
I think it's only fair that you explain how you described this, Bilsy, please.
Go for it. I'm sure
for all the people playing at home that weren't here last week, I think you should just describe it again, Bilsy.
I just wanted to know, why did you build a big, large blue vagina? I mean, even with the shot, come on. I mean,
I had just the funniest thing with this was I don't know. I had that didn't even come up on my radar until Trent and Paul, two gay guys, pointed out to me that what I'm building is essentially looks like a big vagina. And I'm like, how bad is this that two gay guys point out that that they know what a vagina looks like?
They know what to avoid.
But then after he'd said that, after we'd said that, and then I come up and then I see him working and he's down here like this.
Where's that promo pic? That's the promo pic we need.
I think the funny thing with this was because some of this was sort of with Brickman's suggestion, build off the table, and then I think he came up towards the end was pretty concerned we need to sort of put that covering layer on the top, to make it at least look like a river rather than just sort of big. Yeah.
But
why did no one tell me this? Well,
less like a vagina and more like a river. Is that what Brickman was trying to say?
Yeah.
I think he got it all wrong, because the top bit makes it look like it's just trimmed and sparkly bits,
Bedazzled.
Yeah, bedazzled.
That's one word for it. But no, going back to the title of the song, we felt for you, for sure.
Wow, yeah. How do you build an adjective? Seriously, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that was a tough challenge. I think some were just really easy, and then other ones were really hard. And
the original concept, two mountains next to each other to match the river.
Out of the song titles that there was, is there one that you would have chosen?
Oh, Stairway to Heaven. As soon as it came, if you were giving that, you would have just grabbed that for sure. Yeah. We were like, what are they doing? To give it to Justin Henry? We were like, oh my God. What?
Yeah, cool.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Car of the future. By far the best car-looking, car-wise build out of all of the other, whatever you want to call the other builds.
We loved her so much.
Yeah, that was...
It was good. It was, as that futuristic, Back to the Future style, proper, out there looking hover car. Very, very, very cool.
It's like the car from Iron Man where Tony Stark's doing the whole the future convention. It looks like that, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch that.
I think where you nailed this one was that you took a contemporary car and you futurized it. So it was something that everyone recognizes, but then also recognizes the futuristic look of it as well. So just absolutely nailed it, this one. It's beautiful.
And I thought I built some of the big cars that Lego brings out. So it's just or just sort of build something like that and just whack on some pods on the side, and yeah.
Can I ask,
pretty
guys?
easy to sell.
That's the one. So
Ah.
can I ask, guys? Was it meant to be? Everyone went really wacky with the cars. Was it a prerequisite to go wacky with the cars, or because I felt like you guys were the only one who hit the brief, in my opinion. Like, you know, like you made a futuristic car, whereas everyone went a bit like stupid with the brief.
Well, I think we, if I can recall, some of us, there was a bit of struggle in refining for some teams about what it was. Like, I think originally it was like maybe a futuristic vehicle or just something, like they didn't really, and then I sort of said refine back to a car kind of thing. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why. Maybe it was coming off from doing the previous rubber
stuntman
chicken kind of thing that people just thought that was.
But also, a lot of people had never built cars before. So, I mean, because Nick and Jean, Jean's a rev head, so he loves cars and things. And so theirs was you know, that was recognizably a car as well. Yeah. I mean, it had all the wooden panels and stuff, but it was recognizably a car. Whereas some of them just had never built a car, never wanted to build a car. And so I think maybe you can lean into wacky there, especially, you know, everyone knows like just how fun minifigs are. So if you're going to be going that direction, then you can go quite playful. But this is beautiful. It's so beautiful.
A few questions coming through. I'll get a Dave. How are you, champion? So where'd the other question go? Was there ever a part, as we move into the next photo, was there ever a part that you needed that wasn't there? That you thought, again, why?
Oh, yeah.
If you go back to that, the car, like the angled plates, for some of the plates, there's only the right plate. Yes. Like you don't have the mirrored one, and you're like scrabbling through. You go, I've seen those in there, so I'll be fine. And then you get in and you go, you've just got 5,000 right ones and one left. And bicycle wheels. There's lots of bicycle frames and no bicycle wheels.
Someone else said that too.
Yeah, someone else said that as well.
Well, no, they said motorbike frames and no wheels.
Oh, thank God.
I think, yeah.
But for me,
so old. Is this one? Was this the old? I was called officially Old to New. I think it was called. Like that, yeah. First off, man, gypped you for sure. You didn't need to build that extra drop. There's no, you know, that was just a brick man. Come on, mate. You got some spare time. Throw this in. Like that whole wheel worked as a piece. You know what I mean? Like I feel you got a little bit gypped, pushed a bit hard on that one.
That was a learning curve of the whole, or learning experience of the show, and what levers they can pull to motivate you and that. So
you use the word motivate. I choose another word.
Yeah. 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 Like I think this was like for me, like going on the show, and then this kind of build sort of realized, my expectations were a bit different of what the kind of experience may be like on set and such. Like, I just wanted to hang out with a whole bunch of other cool Lego people building stuff and then just sort of, I don't know, do what you need to do and then just have fun with other people. But it's like, no, keep building bigger. Like, yeah.
It's called tail scale.
I was really sad with this one because they were going more, and once we got the drop done, and so we added it in, and we actually had a lo-fi ride in there as well. There's actually a pirate ship that rocks underneath. It didn't show, like it wasn't mentioned, wasn't shown in the pics. Like you can see it if you look there, you can see something hanging. That's actually, and it just rocks, and we set it so it go underneath and holds, and there's heaps of details in there, but like nothing didn't get seen like at all.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about before. You know, like when you watch back the edits, and like you said, they you know, they skip past certain builds or build times or build techniques that you've used, and obviously sometimes they just skip past the whole build.
Yeah, just went 3 minutes. We're just going to say there's 2. Yeah.
But hey, at least at the end, you know, the probe went up, it come down, it shattered everywhere. It worked as in a visual thing, so
yeah,
you know, not too bad. All right, cut in half. This one was definitely a bit controversial for you guys.
Yeah. I feel, I don't know if this is fair, So it could just be bitterness, because I'm a deeply bitter person. But
Dish.
it's sometimes I think that if you do something in a way that is unexpected, then you're kind of forced to redo it. So anytime that we've like come at something in a really different way, like the way that we built this apartment, it was so fun. So the whole idea was to make the frames. There's a skeleton there, and each of the levels actually slide in and out. So that was the bit we were going to be able to make it all and slide it in and out. But then we were kind of there was a lot of suggestions and feedback that this was like the wrong way to do it, or the slow way to do it, or whatever, and it just gets you second guessing yourself, and you're going,
totally.
So,
and in all clarity, we said the same thing too. Like, you know, as armchair critics, why didn't you just focus on a half-cut robot instead of wasting time with the building as well? You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have a million opinions coming at you every angle.
Yeah, and part of the thinking from that was from the previous challenge where we built one thing, and then Brickman wasn't happy with us just doing one thing to something that we were happy. So it's like, all right, we'll build two things to start off with, and then just save him the hassle of coming in and telling us to build a second thing when we've already started half building something
and it's
else.
Actually, two things from that. Funny one that you say that, because there is an episode, it hasn't shown yet, that he did exactly that, and it kind of went a bit. Anyway, we'll leave that for another time.
Yeah.
But talking about Brickman in the chat, Brent just said sometimes Ryan says stuff that seems a bit arbitrary, like he feels he has to say something about a build. Like last night when he said the tree monster for the girls obviously had to be bigger than the house. And Brent, I think that's the reason. It's more for the show filling time and making, you know, get to the end, because you don't want to finish the build and twiddle your fingers for 3 hours, half a day type thing. So, you know, he obviously encourages you to keep going, and obviously if you keep going, it's only going to get better. Or in some cases, why did you build that extra bit? You know what I mean? So it's a double-edged sword.
And I think one of the frustrations Kirsti and I had so far in this process is like we never felt like we finished anything. Like didn't get around to doing all those fine details and things. Like with this, for example, I was just a bit like you never got to do that sort of finer, what he would call like set dressing or something. You seem to have like a sort of a photo. Like
we longing to be able to set dress.
Do you ever think the Brickman has given an edge to the better builders regardless of their builds in an elimination? I've never seen it. I don't think so. You know, he definitely gives everybody advice, but he gives fair advice to everybody, doesn't he?
I think like there's off-camera Brickman, a lot of the stuff you don't see everything of Brickman on there, and like he does provide a lot of support. Like
he's a freaking great help.
And then there's the show kind of aspect of like we need bigger and better things to.
But also, he can only give feedback to that specific build. So, like saying there's an edge, there's like an even bit, but he can only do like with what people are actually working on. He can't, he can't pull it out of nowhere. So he can't go, well, I've given them this advice, I'm going to go and give the same. He can only respond to what's there. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Moving on, the bridge episode. I think you guys had the best idea. Obviously, you know. Engineering wise, structure wise, you can tighten things down, brace it up a bit better. But I think you were heading in the best idea for sure to capture that shake and you know, suspend it. Like it was just, you know, the boys obviously won by default by accident, which is awesome for them. But I even we said the other night, we think, you know, that, or I did, the rope idea was good because it does take some of the slack, but then obviously the red uprights didn't really hold the slack very well.
Yeah, and just part of that is like Lego is not a very good material for building a bridge with. So
you don't need to convince me that
the pillars just with the clutch factor on the base plate and stuff, just things like that. It's just sort of, and with the actual bridge span, like we missed 2 brackets that would have joined up, and that's where it broke. Otherwise, like that bridge thing, the actual bridge. That wouldn't have broken, and the strings, the way they are attached and reinforced in,
that whole platform we had to pull apart and redo because the size was wrong, like the length. So when we went and tested it, and so we had really built it like gone very carefully, like to the point. The same way you saw like Nick walking on them, we were pressing it down and walking, and it was so slowly done. So when we had to undo it, it took so long to rip it apart and then redo it. And so some of the bits just simply wasn't done to the same level. So the bit where it peeled away, but she looked gorgeous in the room. Seriously, she just drew the eye. You were just like, wow. Yeah.
This is the one kind of build that I'd like to build again, just to like prove that this kind of thing would work. Like with a few little adjustments to it.
Yeah.
Like that would actually work, I think.
All right. One of the more fun and definitely different episodes, the Dragon, Drone and Grandscapes episode. I think your dragon was good. Like you nailed exactly what you needed to do. You know what I mean? Put it on the drone. Drone needed to look like a dragon flying. Your flying skills, I mean, that was kind of, you know, it's obviously everyone had fun flying
tricky because like if you look up from there, you're gone. Like you have to only look through here. So you look up and try and reorient yourself. Also, it's the controls set for a right-hander. So and you go that's fine. You're used to changing, but your first instinct is to use your strongest hand, but my first instinct, like to go forward, it will actually make it come down. So, so it was a bit of a bit. But Dan was like, he didn't want to do the controls, but not. So I was like, okay.
I just know from in the past trying to use like remote control cars, and it's all right if it's going away from you, and then like when it's coming back towards you, like things reverse and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like,
that's why, as Coach said, you got to keep the eyes on the screen. Don't look at the drone.
Yeah. And I did a poor job as a spotter. Like they're actually like the course is quite big, and you couldn't judge the distance, like those poles and things and the lighting. And, anyway,
hey,
it was such a great energy though. It was like we were all it was joyous. That was absolutely joyous.
Like everyone had fun for sure. And then obviously that went into the Grandscapes, and personally, and I think Henry said last night, I think yours was definitely up there, one of the best. Like.
Oh yeah,
you know, you nailed what you had to do. Even though they did show in the show, he did press very hard against you in the backdrop. But I think you come out of that one.
Oh, that was really. Wait, I've got to say that was so hard to just no, I know that I'm right because he's Brickman. Like it's every time you come in on the show, the first thing we go, he's like the only certified Lego professional in the Southern Hemisphere, one of 13, and you're going okay, and he knows his onions, and he's coming up going, you've got nothing, but you're going, I know what it is. I know we can do it. Yeah.
Kirsti, are you a painter as well? Like,
I don't paint, but I love art. I like paper and paper engineering and collage, and I make stupid little films.
But that's perfect for that challenge, right? That's perfect for that challenge. Like the composition of that is like, foreground, midground, backdrop.
100%.
Like it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. And I think this is one of the ones that we learned with our initial sketching and idea. Like we did, I can't even remember what my pitch was, but when we exchanged ideas and went, yeah, that's really cool, Kirsti, I like that. And then we're just like, let's just clean up, like you said, composition and just arrange things and plan it out. And then just like, all right, Kirsti, she's going to build the background. I'll have a go at all the rest of the stuff and build a boat, and just sort of, it just
so Ariella, why did Brickman criticize the holes in the cliff? He criticized the holes in the cliff because he couldn't find anything else.
And this is one of the ones where I was talking in the mic the whole time. Like we were just under pressure, and it's just like one of those things like, how can I quickly get a mountain sort of side up bit without building lots of bricks? Because I don't want to spend half my time putting a lot of bricks on top of each other.
Did you not have burps in the brick pit?
Nick and Jean took them all.
Oh, and we took them from our mountain build too. We used a lot of them in that too. But so this is the one where I say if you do it in a different way, it feels like you get sort of pushback on it, because we didn't honeycomb at all. Everyone else was honeycombing and we didn't honeycomb. It was like he'd come up with this really cool way with the plates in here and all jointed in, and then we fixed them in by just building them so that they're supported in, and then we added some pillars inside to support the hill coming up. So we just did this in the wrong way.
And you did illegal builds, mate. What are you doing?
But I really actually love the facets. I love these the verticals that come down.
Oh,
Because,
nailed it.
when it's built up like that, you go, it just often just looks like Lego, and you're going, whereas this, from a distance, you look at it, you go, oh, yeah, that really does have a rock feel. So I still really like it.
Yeah, definitely nailed the flat cliff face feel. Like, again, we can sit back, like you said, you sit back and look at this now and think, oh, how else would I have done it different? Well, you don't need to, because you told the story, you nailed what it looked like, and then the boat obviously was mate, the boat was
angle,
sick.
that was
The boat, the boat was definitely cool. I think one of the boys said last night that it would have looked cool in a darker shade to give that night effect. But I mean, still, as a boat, like, you can't not like, you're walking into any type of a show or room and you're seeing that, you're not going to mistake what that is. You know what I mean? Like, you can't fault it.
It's not as confusing as a mountain and a deep river.
I mean, if you squint your eyes, it kind of looks like smoke on the water, but
just needs a shark thing.
You need a bigger boat.
Yeah, very nice. I think at the moment, this is probably my favorite build from your guys.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's a build you'd happily take to a show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see it at Brick Venture, huh? And then obviously last night, where we're up to now, episode 8, the Spooktacular. And back to what you said before, you don't like to hear the word, but it was you nailed the roller coaster quote for this episode for sure.
Wow.
I think
Savage.
I mean, personally, I don't think you should have built like Brickman, like the second arm, the one arm worked. There was no need to build two arms.
And you know what? In this book, like when you said watching it, I was watching it. I was going, I just wish there'd been a chance to rebut, because I'm going, this thing about you don't have presence. Presence isn't height. We didn't need height. So if we had been able to finish that, because that arm, we hadn't even clad that arm yet. So if we'd been able to clad the first arm, it would stayed like that. Fine, we could have stuck another boat on it, but then we could have put all that effort into creating the rest of the atmosphere so that green just popped.
And
so I think this is one of those ones where we just should have said, not listening. That's what we should have done. Oh, well. Too late.
What was that, Dan?
I was just looking at it now, like also putting the second arm in there, looking at it now, it distracts from the head and the face and the eyes kind of thing. Like that was sort of a real big feature of it and how we did it. It's just sort of
the whole reason.
This is one of those things where it's just sort of it evolved due to feedback and other things, and then sort of just didn't gel. Like I said on the show. It's just anyway. That's part of the journey of the roller coaster.
And you're still in the journey. You haven't been eliminated. You're still powering through. You're still pushing on. So, which is freaking awesome. We have gone past 7:30, so we've got to let the people go and actually watch the show now. So, episode 9 tonight for those that are watching at home. And I don't know the official name, but it's the Wind. It's the Wind episode. I can't remember the official name.
Blown
for it,
away.
But again, it might be Blown Away. Yeah. But again, Dan and Kirsti's story tonight is quite highlighted. So make sure you definitely watch that one. But the actual challenge, again, is very cool. Very freaking cool challenge.
Yeah. As most technical challenge. I enjoyed the technical part of this, but anyway, people will watch it and see what happens.
You'll watch it. It's good. And we'll try to get you back after the show, after it's all done, eliminated winners, losers, finishers, and all that. But thanks again, guys, for taking some time out of your night and having a chat with us. And, we appreciate it.
Thank you. It was lovely meeting you. Bye.
Henry, go.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, Dan and Kirsti, are we seeing you on Saturday at Sydney or anything like that? Or
at the Homebush?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we got a posse. Dan, it's a bit too far, but there's a posse.
I'm sort of, back in suburban life and kids and life and work. And
are you going to do Newcastle though, Dan? Are you going to be able to come up to Newcastle? Is this going to be my first time ever explaining? I'm so excited.
See what happens. I'd love
to.
We'll
be at Brick Expo.
I was going to get the whole family on board and just do a group build. So I just got to
There you go.
I'll do stuff, just not in the short term.
There you go. We'll keep watching it. If you guys already don't forget, go and follow both of them on Instagram. Dan, what is your official Instagram? Because I'll get it wrong.
What do I got? Dan's Brick Builds.
Dan's.brick.builds, isn't it?
Yeah.
The dots. Yep. And Kirsti, yours?
Brick Princess Buttercup.
There you go. All right, and we'll be back tomorrow, us four, with some more guests. Everybody else, go and enjoy tonight's